Hello, everyone. Welcome to Switchcraft, the Fingerboard podcast. My name is Jana, and this time I have a guest from the UK. Everyone say hello to Tom.
Hi, Anna.
Hey. Um, yeah, let's jump right in. You've been fingerboarding for quite a while, and you've been part of the fingerboard scene for quite a while. Do you roughly know when you got into fingerboarding and when you realized that there was something like a scene and that you could actually do tricks with a fingerboard? Because it's usually two different things for a lot of people who've been around as long as you and I have.
Yeah, exactly the same for me. So I got my first fingerboard on a family holiday trip to Florida. It was like one of the McDonald's Happy Meal sets,
Mm.
fingerboard branded fingerboard. I was looking it up this weekend, and the logo for it is like an L for loser, like a little hand. It's really funny. So that was back in the year 2000. And then I
Oh,
got my first tech deck in about 2004 for my birthday. And then I discovered the scene a little after that, I think the next year in 2005. So, yeah, that's when I started doing like proper skateboard tricks,
yeah.
I suppose.
That's quite early, especially for someone not from Germany, because I feel in Germany it really got going between 2001 and 2004. And around 2004, the scene was pretty much established. But at that point, I can't really remember that many people from other countries. Like there were some from neighboring countries and absolutely from other German-speaking countries. But to have people like you across the pond, that's something I don't remember quite many people were around back then.
No, I mean, I can't really remember. Um, well, actually, I take that completely back because there was definitely UK people before me.
Mhm.
People like Simon Cartledge of Cartwheels, like he's
Has he been around that long? I know
yeah,
he's been around long. Oh,
yeah.
crazy.
He's been around for quite a while. I mean, I was on the forums for around about 2005, and he was already well established there. Um,
Ah, crazy.
but I'd have to mention people like Martin Ilsley and Tina Wade. So they ran the FFI forum too. They were both from the UK. And then people like David Feeks, unfortunately, I think he's stopped now. But yeah, in terms of UK people before me, those are the people that do stand out.
Yeah, because back then, it really like I really missed the international scene completely back then because I wasn't using like I don't think I was even aware of FFI, and I'm not sure why that is because I think my English was already at a level where I could communicate online back then.
Yeah.
But I don't think I ever heard of FFI back then, and I was really into all the German forums. Like whenever there was a German forum, I was in it. Like I was one of the ones who always was in the forum.
Yeah. I guess like how I found FFI was through the Tech Deck forums. So like
Mm,
you'd see on the back of the pack, join the message board or whatever.
yeah.
And I can't remember if like somebody recommended FFI to me or there was like a section that had different fingerboard companies. I think it was called Sites That Grind or something. And FFI was one, Fingerboard DE was another. So naturally, you go to your native speaking
Mm.
country. So yeah, that's how I ended up there.
Ah, cool. And have you met other people back then from the FFI forum, or was it just like an online thing for you for quite a few years?
Um, I met up with a guy called Ben Crompton. So that was about 2006, I think. But because the UK scene was really, really small, we were all spread
Mm.
out around the country. So it naturally became more of an online thing for us.
Mm. I mean, even in Germany, like it was still spread out. Like you had like a couple cities where there were like multiple people there, or in some cases even a scene. Like Munich was definitely one of those places.
Yeah.
Kassel, but Kassel was basically just the Kassel Ost crew,
Okay.
and they were just a couple friends who started at the same time. And Hamburg always had people, and Berlin, of course, as well, because those are like biggest cities in Germany anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, like where I'm from, there wasn't anyone around for like a couple hours by car, and I didn't have a car back then because I was like 13. So yeah, yeah, it was a lot of online talking to people for me as well back then.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, naturally, you do get those sort of hubs of places. I mean, now the scene in the UK, there's a big hub in London.
Mm.
There's more of a hub now in Manchester,
Ah,
um,
cool.
and they do seem to be this sort of these clusters of places. So yeah, yeah, it's good. It's I guess it's a
Yeah.
natural progression, isn't it? You get people spread out and then people coming together.
Yeah, especially in the bigger cities, you eventually get people who are into fingerboarding, like just by the sheer number of people living in those places.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you also been not only part of the UK scene for a while, but in my head, I always associated you with the Portugal people even more than I did with the UK people. And for a while, I wasn't even sure if you were uh, from Portugal, living in the UK, or just from the UK. And yeah, so yeah, tell us a bit about how you met up with all the Porto people, and yeah, uh, how you got to know them.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, it was a little bit of a running joke that actually, like over in with a few UK guys, like I had the full Portugal set up at one point, like yellow with white truck and Oak wheels,
Yeah.
and yeah, I guess that's again through the forums, FFI and things, because
Mm.
like back then it'd be very much a direct line between you and the company owner. It was so
Mm.
personal. Um, and at that time, I started talking to Ricardo with Oak Wheels, um, and well, he just released his first set, and I bought them instantly. I thought, yeah, that's the way forward for fingerboarding. Like urethane wheels, that's like it's real. It's a real skateboard all of a sudden. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I was loving those. Keeping in touch with Ricardo, and he eventually invited me onto the Oak Wheels team. Um, and then because he was friendly with Philippe of Yellowwood, I ended up chatting to those. Um, and yeah, it was. I, I guess I just got friendly with a lot of people over in the Portuguese scene, like at events and things like that. Like Battle of the Harricks and Fast Fingers in particular. The Portuguese lot seemed to really take me under their wing. It's just nice to have a group of people in an area of Germany that I wasn't aware of. So yeah, I just ended up becoming part of their family, I suppose.
Yeah, that's really cool. I can imagine that when you're for the first time at a place like Fast Fingers or Battle at the Herrick's or Aussie Berlin contest or those kind of big events, that it's tough to actually get talking with people unless you already know people from online, because there's so many people there, and people like me who have been in the scene for ages and know people from all over the world get to see those people at those events, and it usually ends with us hanging out at those events, and it's like really tough for someone else to crop into those circles and yeah, get talking with people
Yeah,
unless
definitely.
you already established something online.
And yeah, exactly. That's what the forums were good for. Because what I cherished the most was like the off-topic section. Like
Mm.
you'd get to know people's personalities and what they were into.
Yeah.
So like naturally, you find somebody's into photography. Let's say. Okay, so when I'm
Yeah.
at an event, I'll talk to them about photography. What are they up to and things.
uh,
So yeah, it was just a really, really good community like that.
like even when I wasn't fingerboarding, I like every time I heard like different things, I would think of people from the forums and was like, oh yeah, Fabi used to do something like that, or I wonder what he's up to now. And yeah, those uh, like weird connections that you just get from yeah, have chilling out in the forum for the better part of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's exactly what I used to do.
Yeah,
Like as I was coming back from school, I straight away
yeah,
would be logging onto my computer and just seeing what everybody was up to. And
yeah,
I think I
same.
spent most of my time in the off-topic section. Come to think of it,
Yeah.
I wasn't really interested in the fingerboarding.
Yeah, I remember like my like back then I didn't have a computer on my own. We had like a family computer, and it was on the same floor where our terrace that leads into the backyard was. And back then I would always set up my fingerboard park in the backyard because I built like a bunch of obstacles and I tried to mimic a G3 like river park and build stuff on my own. And I would always set it up in the backyard, go through the door, check the forums, and go out and have a session again. And
That's a
that
perfect.
was like, yeah, and that was what I used to do like all the time.
That's mint. That's really good.
Yeah. I also know that over the years you got involved with Blackriver a bit. And yeah, just wanted to ask you how that whole thing started and yeah, how you ended up meeting them and yeah.
Yeah. Well, back in 2007, I ordered a big mini, so I had to email them for a shipping quote. And Denise ended up replying to my email, give me the quote, just having a bit of a chat. And yeah, so a few years later in 2011, because I already knew quite a few people in the Portuguese scene, you get invited to the Steig and Martin's house after Fast Fingers. Um, Denise was there, and I was talking to her, and she remembered like giving me the shipping quote for the big mini all those years later, which was fun.
How many years later was that? Do you roughly remember?
It would have been 4 or 5. Yeah, 4 years. So 2007
Crazy.
was the big mini, and then 2011 was Fast Fingers. Um, so yeah, I was already chatting to them quite a bit, and then the next year they came to London for a trade show. Um, it was the Ledge Skate Trade Show, so you get big brands there and things like that. And Blackriver had their own booth, so they had the park, a few things to talk to skate brands with or skate shops, whatever. So part of the team there was Martin, Ollie Blankenborg, and Elise was there too. So they were there for 3 days, I think. So with them, they invited a few of the UK scene too. So myself, Eddie Sharples, Kerry Williams, and Sam Jamil was there. So yeah, I mean, we got quite drunk a few days, and yeah, just naturally made friendships with them. It was good,
Yeah.
really fun little day, fun weekend.
I miss going to events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, and so now Blackriver and Oak are your sponsors, right?
yeah, that's right.
And with Blackriver, have you also done things for Blackriver, or am I misremembering something there?
Other than the trade show stuff, no, I've not done anything really, other than the Bolly graphics.
Ah, I think that was what I remembered.
Right. Well, that's what eventually led me to being on the team. So, shall I explain about the Bolly graphics?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So, I mean, last year I was out of work with COVID. A lot of people were.
Mhm.
But how the UK government did it, they did what they call the furlough scheme, and they pay up to 80% of your wages.
Yeah, similar in Germany. Here it's, I think it's 60%, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to still have an income in because you can still do what you want to do. I mean, I didn't want to sit on my ass and play Call of Duty for
Yeah.
6 weeks or whatever. So I decided, okay, I'm a designer. I might as well design things. Yeah, and I just approached Blackriver and asked them if they wanted any work done. And
Cool.
one of the projects that they had was the new series of graphics.
Cool.
So yeah, that I mean, a few conversations led to another, and then Denise said,
Hmm.
"You're on the team," so that was good.
So you work as a graphic designer, or yeah?
Yeah. I've been working as a designer now full time for about 5 years.
Ah,
Um,
cool.
yeah,
That's pretty much the time that I haven't been. Like I think I stopped. I mean, at this point, probably more like 6 years ago. But yeah, I studied graphic design and yeah, worked in the design realm for quite a while.
yeah. It's I mean, I don't know why. Why? Yeah, why did you end up stopping?
Um, I didn't like the being creative when you have to thing,
Yeah.
and also the things maybe it was just getting the wrong job, like maybe it was just the wrong agency where I started, but whatever they needed was exactly the opposite of what I was good at.
Okay.
So I basically crashed and burned, and but they still gave me the opportunity to start working there as a developer. And ever since then, I made the switch from designing websites to creating websites that other people designed.
Well,
And
that's great because that's the
yeah,
good thing about uh, studying graphic design. It can branch out into all
yeah.
sorts of different
And
areas.
I learned those skills in graphic design because in like third semester we had to create our own websites, and for me it was like the third time I learned HTML, and I was like, okay, this time I'm trying to make a point to actually learn it. And yeah, I set a goal to create like to code a new website each semester after that, and I
Cool.
did that for like 4 semesters, and yeah, so I eventually learned how to code through that.
Well, it sounds like you were naturally meant to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I miss graphic design, but I was never into like I was never good at creating graphics and stuff like that. Like the type of design I was good at was the like structural design where you create like a whole line for stuff like museums or corporate identities, like the overarching things, like not the make one cool thing, more like take one cool thing someone else make and try to apply it to 100 different cases and
Well,
try to create a system that works with that.
yeah. Well, that's what I do full time. Uh,
Ah, cool.
yeah, I work in a branding agency. Uh,
Ah, cool.
so when I do like single pieces like the graphics,
Yeah,
that's like a bit of a breath of fresh air, I suppose. Like,
yeah,
oh, I can
yeah.
design something singly.
Yeah, for me it's always like, ah no, I just give that to someone else. Like I'm currently in the works of getting my first signature graphic with Five Luck, and I just had a friend do it, like because yeah,
You know what?
wouldn't be
I've had the
wouldn't be
same
great.
sort of thing before. Like I've got an issue with me designing my own graphics because I've had graphics before and I don't like doing my own. Something about it, I don't know. It just feels weird.
Yes, some people I know are really adamant that you need to create your own graphic. That way, it's actually yours and it represents you. But I'm more along the lines with you, where it's like I much rather have someone else do it for me and work with them, and yeah, because it's like seeing yourself through someone else's eyes. Like,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for me, I don't mind coming up with the idea, but for the crafting of it, I'd prefer to employ an illustrator or typographer, whoever.
yeah,
But yeah, that's just me.
um, Yeah, I think I'm now going to jump over to the rapid fire section,
Oh yeah.
which, as I say every time, is anything but rapid. So if you take more time on one of those questions, I don't mind.
Okay.
So, yeah, what's your favorite wheels? I think I can guess that one.
Oh, definitely Oaks. But if I had to if I had to pick one, at the moment it's the RV2V, which are the conical versions.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um, they just there's just something about them that they're just the right size for me.
yeah,
They're not
yeah.
too
Then they're not
small.
too big, but still big. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I ride a lot of transition,
Mhm.
and these just sort of are the right halfway house between street and transition, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to ride them for a while when I got back into fingerboarding because I started with Winklers and they were way too slippery for me. So I then got Oaks and I rode Oaks for a good 2 years, I think. But nowadays they're a bit too grippy for me. Like now that I have been riding more slippery wheels, going back to Oaks feels super grippy.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
always been into grippy wheels though.
Yeah.
Like, I think, well, I've been riding Oaks for the past 10 years now,
Yeah.
but the wheels I had before these were like Euros. Um, so
Yeah, I recently started talking to Joe Leclerc again, who made Eurald, because
I've had a few
he's back
messages.
on Instagram. Yeah,
Yeah, he's always been proper cool guy.
yeah,
Um,
he has. Yeah,
I've always been into that grippiness. I don't know why. It's just it just feels right to me.
yeah. I mean, I also like more grip. Like, maybe like I thought about getting some Oaks again, and every time I do, I end up trading them away for one reason or the other. But yeah, grippy wheels are good. Yeah, it's all a preference thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What's your favorite deck and shape?
Ooh, see, this is really difficult for me to answer because I haven't had a single deck that I used for the past 4 or 5 years. I tend to flip quite a lot, but right now I really like the Burnwood Low 32. Um, yeah, it's my favourite so far.
Mm,
Let's say that.
I mean, it's one of those shapes that always works. Like
Yeah, exactly.
it just works.
Yeah, that's it as well. Like, there's just the right amount of concave. Like, it's
Hmm.
quite deep by today's standards, but
Yeah,
it just feels right on the fingers. There's something about
and
it.
and quite skinny by today's standards.
What, the 32?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I mean, I can't use 34s at all. Like, it's my limit. It just doesn't feel right for me. So I tend
yeah.
to go
For me, I can't really go back to 32. Like
thinner.
I always write 33.3, and if that's not an option, it's 34. Like yeah, 32 is just too skinny for me nowadays. Which is weird because I think I'm the same as you. You probably also started with 26 millimeter Berlin Woods.
Well, not Berlin Woods. The But yeah, that width anyway.
Do you remember what your first like non-plastic deck was?
Yeah. It was made by a guy in Ireland called Ian Andrew. He had a company called Abscess. Um, it was it had like two exclamation marks in red and black. Um, and yeah, I mean, back then, basically people just pressed two tech decks together in a mold. Um,
Yes, I also tried that once. Yeah.
yeah, it never goes well, does it? But for everybody
No.
else, it seemed amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I also had like two softer wood, but it was like one. Yeah, it wasn't rideable at all.
No. Um, but yeah, that was my first deck, and I think round about that time I got my first sheet of rip tape as well. I remember using it on bat and thinking, "Wow, what is this? This is amazing!"
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I remember when I came back into fingerboarding, like literally the day I started going back, it started with me going to the Blackriver store, back what is now the Asibrunnen shop, and uh, actually Martin Ehrenberger was visiting. Now even I am mixing up my Martins. So Martin Ehrenberger was visiting, and I was setting up a deck for the first time in like 10 plus years, and they were like, "Ah, you probably know how to do that because they seen my old boards and stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I can do that." Then they gave me a sheet, and I was like, "I don't know what to do with this uncut thing." Back in my day, it was always already stamped to fit your board, and the only thing you had to do was maybe cut it like in the middle to extend it like lengthwise and have a strip where your tail was, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I remember still using those up until about 2009 or so, and
Yeah.
I had a Berlin Wood. I mean, you'd call it an old mold now.
Mhm.
Sort of this wide thing, and I used the because those pieces of rip tape were about 26 mil too, I think. But I
Yeah.
was using that on a 30 mil Berlin Wood, so there was 2 mil either side.
Yeah.
I didn't like the Berlin Wood because of the tape, like, which sounds so weird. But obviously later I rectified that and it became an amazing, amazing deck. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, those are the kind of things people who started today never experienced and never will know. Like,
yeah, exactly.
what's your favorite trick on flat?
It'd be a 360 shove it.
I'm with you on that one.
Nice. Yeah, I
I,
mean, I got really well known for them at some point. I did like a tutorial on YouTube, and then people started saying, "Oh, your three shoves are amazing." And for a while, it was all I was really known for, and it really pissed me off.
yeah, I
So I don't really
can
do them
imagine.
that much now.
The important question there is: do you have your finger on the board the whole time, or is your are your fingers away from the board when you do the shove, the
The
three
front
shove?
the front finger is always on the board. Yeah.
Yeah, same for me. Because there are people who do them quite well without any fingers touching. Like Manu Oberle has done some really nice shove-its without touching the board at all. And I never understood how you get that control without having the finger there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I have tried to do it before, but the having the finger touching just seems much more comfortable, and I feel like I
Yeah,
control it into grinds a lot better.
yeah,
Um,
same for me. Like free shove nose grind is one of the easiest tricks for me because it's like right there. Like the front finger is always already on the front of the board, and you just have to press it down to land in a nose grind. Like,
exactly, exactly.
yeah. Brings me to my next question. What's your favorite trick on an obstacle? For me, it's free shove nose grind.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to break the mold, Jana.
Yeah, damn.
I'm going to go for a nollie flip back crook. It just feels good.
Yeah, but that's a tough one.
Yeah, I think it depends on the obstacle. Like on so like a high obstacle, it is
Mhm.
quite difficult.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
The higher it gets, the more difficult it definitely gets.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
What's your favorite song right now?
Ooh, so there's about 5 songs buzzing around my head right now. Um,
Just mention them all if you want to.
oh, I'm probably going to get them all wrong now. If I well, first one I'd say Bo Diddley. Don't judge a book by its cover. Um, So a classic R&B number. The next one would be the Arcs. Put a flower in your pocket. So the Arcs are a side project of oh god, what's he in now? I remember that Dan Elbach. Um, yeah, I'm big into like my blues stuff at the moment. Um, those are the two songs really for me that I'm keen on. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard of either, which is like a running theme in this question. Even when I interview myself, I don't know the songs. Do you prefer outdoor or indoor fingerboarding?
Indoor fingerboarding, definitely.
What's your favorite obstacle?
Ooh. See, I like obstacles for different reasons. Because I think of obstacles in two sort of manners. One is sort of like a utility thing, say like a quarter pipe or things like that, where it adds a lot to a spot. And then there's
Mm,
sort of like the centerpiece obstacle.
yeah,
Um, so
yeah, like creating a playground for yourself with like something on the left, something on the right, and then something you can change in the middle.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'd go for something like the Blackriver the quarter low or pocket quarter, sorry.
Mm,
So like that for the utility one, and
yeah.
then the main event would be I've got this like brick obstacle. Like I don't want to say the name,
Mm,
but it's quite rude. The F off brick obstacle that I've got. I got this from Greg Herman. Like we met up in at Battle of the Harricks, and he came back into to Manchester, and he gave it me as a gift. Um, so yeah, cheers, Greg, if you listen to this. Appreciate that.
cool. Um, do you prefer concrete, wood, or granite? Or granite?
For
Never know how to say that in English because in German it's granite, and it feels weird to say granite. But yeah.
yeah, the problem with me, I'm very mank, so I'd say granite, but I'm sure the Queen's English would be granite. But I don't know. Sorry, do you
Maybe
mean?
it's just saying granite.
Yeah, granite. Um, sorry, do you mean to roll on, or do you mean to grind on?
Whichever you prefer. Like, yeah, what's your favorite surface? Let's say.
Um, Probably concrete. Just yeah, I guess with oaks, there's something about it.
Yeah,
I think I come back to the skateboarding feel again.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And on concrete, oaks are definitely something I like way more than on wood. Like on wood, it's just too grippy for me. But on anything less grippy than wood, I'm I can also ride oaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the surface makes a big difference with pretty much any wheel.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Um, do you like nollie, switch, regular, fakie the most?
Ooh, recently Nolly. Um, I just find myself getting into grinds quite well with Nolly. Um,
Yeah, same for me. Like nollie flip, nose grind, like nollie flip 5-0 are things I can do like while working, like not even thinking about.
yeah. I guess with that direction right to left, if you're right-handed,
Mhm.
it just feels like it floats into it a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have hobbies outside of fingerboarding?
Yes. It's, I know I'm going to miss off a few. um, well, what I'm looking at right now is my guitar. I've always been into my guitar. Photography too. I collect uh, vinyls somewhat. Uh, yeah, I'm probably missing out on quite a few bits there, but those are the main two.
Collecting vinyls can get very expensive, I heard.
Yes, it bloody well can. I mean, I'm quite restrictive on the kind of thing I get. So if it's a band I like, yeah, I'll happily get a coloured vinyl or whatever on release. But then anything else like reissues, I sort of cast aside up until Record Store Day. So
Mm,
do you know what Record Store Day is?
not really, no.
So I think it's in the UK and America. I'm sure it'll be in parts of mainland Europe as well. But to sort of drive people into going to record shops, they do a load of rare releases. So it might be a reissue of, say, like the Beatles on a certain coloured vinyl. It might be a rare recording of an artist, a B side
Mm,
that hasn't been released before, like that kind of thing.
yeah.
And
Cool.
you'll get people queuing up overnight. So I'm one of the people that queues up overnight.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely have seen that because I used to work in a parallel street to the Other Berlin shop. And right next to where I worked is a big store. Maybe you already been there if you.
I ordered. I think I know who you're going to say. They're 2 streets away from Asia, aren't they?
Yeah, it's HVV or HVV.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I ordered
Yeah.
from them at the start of the pandemic,
Oh,
but they
cool.
buggered up my order. Like I was meant to order something else. Luckily, they
Yeah,
gave me a refund. But yeah, I mean, I mentioned it to Timo. Like, oh, have you been in that shop yet?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Because I literally like there's like I think there's one building next to that, and then there's like a street that leads to a parking lot, and in that parking lot, my company was based, but we moved since then, which was a bummer for me because after work I would always just go to the other shop
yeah,
because
yeah, I bet.
yeah, because it was like I think it's even just one street. Yeah, I think it's just the exact parallel street, and yeah, it was nice to just walk like 5 minutes after work and go there.
Yeah, I mean, next time I'm
Yeah.
going to Berlin, I'm 100% going in there. I'm probably spending the entire day there as well.
Yeah, because it's one of those shops where I always know that people who like records know that store.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, this one is usually a tough one. What's your favorite fingerboard video?
Ooh,
Like it's either very tough or very easy.
yeah.
Like some people just say pissing fingers, and yeah.
Well, Pissing Fingers 2, like that for, I think a lot of people in the forums, like around about my era, would that was the video. Like somebody put it
Yeah,
on Google Videos, and like that was the whole reason a lot of people watched it.
okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I also didn't know Google Videos. Like I had the VHS from Pissing Fingers 1 and the DVD for Pissing Fingers 2.
Away of VHS.
Yeah, yeah, like because it was like right around the time, like right before DVD was like becoming really established in Germany. Like back then, people had DVD players, but they were still really expensive. And I think it could be that you even could get Pissing Fingers 1 as a DVD as well. But I definitely had it as a VHS and used to watch it all the time.
Oh
And
yeah,
and then Pissing Fingers 2 as a DVD.
yeah. Pissing Fingers 2 is brilliant. I mean, that's why I mentioned like watching it every day. Oh god, yeah. Pissing Fingers 2 is just like incredible because for me, like events just weren't a thing in England. Like
Mm,
they weren't a thing up until about 2010. Um, so to see things like that on a large scale, it just
yeah.
felt like God. It felt like another world almost. And yeah, I mean that's why I wanted to push myself to get myself to Fast Fingers because
Mm.
of Pissing Fingers 2. It was an incredible video. Yeah.
If you could get one Black River park, which one would it be? And you can just describe how it is, because none of us really know the numerals to all the parks.
Yeah, I'm useless for the numerals, which is really bad considering I'm on the team.
I I keep thinking of messaging Martin or Denise if they could give me like a overview with like a small image of every park and the numerals. Like That would be really handy.
Yeah, actually, that'd make a good sort of archive on the website or something.
Yeah, or just a poster,
Yeah,
like just a poster with all the different parks.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, the one I've always enjoyed, and I think it's the same for a lot of people, really, is the one with the waves
yeah,
to the G8.
yeah. It's that one's the G8. That's one of the few ones that I know.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed using that. And the other one, I think, is a Plaza. You've got it at the Aussie store, or you have.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's even the G8 Plaza. I think.
It's the one with the banks, a lot of banks in the
Yeah,
center.
yeah. With the banks, and then like on like a stair set on the one side with a rail on one of the banks. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's the G8 Plaza, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, G8
Yeah,
plus. Then that's
yeah.
me.
Yeah, like I really enjoyed the G8, but the thing I like the least about the G8 is the wobbles or the humps. Yeah,
Really.
yeah.
Oh,
Like
I
if
love that.
if if I had a G8 for myself, like I would probably also get a G8 if I could get any part, but I would rip them out and replace them with something useful for me. And probably sell them to someone who likes that.
I feel like there's been a version without the waves, like maybe a box to replace it.
Um, I think at the Steig they have one, but I think that one was just a prototype, but I'm not sure. But I think at the Steig they have one without the wave, but I could be mistaken. They definitely have a version at the Steig that wasn't the final one.
That might be the one I'm thinking of, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I've only been to the Steig once, and that was at Fast Fingers 20, so there were a lot of things happening and a lot of people to see, and yeah.
Yeah.
Um, do you prefer to have a flat ground with an obstacle or a park?
Um, well, my only option is flat ground with an obstacle. But I mean, I love to use a park whenever I have the chance. It feels like an event for me.
Mm. Heel flip or kick flip?
Kickflip.
Who's your favorite fingerboarder? And you can name a few ones if you like.
Oh, thank God. Well, all time it has to be Elias. I think he's just solid. He has been solid ever
Yeah,
since starting.
he has been solid when he wasn't really like tall enough to reach the full park. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Other than them, I'd say Eddie Sharples, like just incredible fingerboarder. Good mate of mine as well. And then Nick Herzog,
mm?
incredible. Like just the first style, like in fingerboarding, I think.
I was about to say the same. He was the first one that like started riding with like tucked ring finger and small finger, and like really like aimed from above and not like flat on the table. And he was like one of the first who really had a style going and had like a distinctive style going.
Yeah, exactly. And me watching that as a teenager, it was just like, oh, I don't have to do crazy flips, and
Yeah,
doing stuff like that. It could just be the most beautiful kickflip nose grind, and
yeah,
that's all you need. It's all you need in life.
yeah,
um,
absolutely.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, other fingerboarders would be like Jay Linehan, Eric Smith, Martin Ilsley. Yeah, I could go on all day with favorite fingerboarders.
Yeah, I think choosing a favorite one if you have been around for so long is almost impossible. And at that point, you pretty much have to go with the all-time greats like Martin Winkler or Elias Asmuth. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, at some point, those become your only options. um, what was your first event?
um, UK Rendezvous #1. So
When was that? roughly?
I think it was 2010. So it was the first sort of big UK event, um, obviously named after the American counterpart. But yeah, Sam Jamil, who I mentioned earlier,
Mm.
he ran that just by himself in his school hall, and I think it got about 20 or 30 people. Oh no,
Oh,
sorry, that was the third one. The first one was about 10 or 15 people. Well,
yeah, for a first event of pretty much anything, that sounds about right.
yeah, it was just well, the UK coming together for the first time. It just
Mm.
felt really, yeah, pivotal, really.
And when was your first time going to Germany, like to Fast Fingers, probably?
That would have been 2011, so Fast Fingers 14.
Could be. So my last one was number 10 in 2007. So yeah, don't want to count right now, but sounds about right.
Yeah.
And do you like? How was it for you going to Fast Fingers? Was it like super overwhelming seeing all the parts and all the people and all? Because I remember for me, like when I went the first time to like the first big contest I was at was the German Championship in 2004, and there were like four different Black River parks there, and like Martin Winkler was commentating, and like I would see the Kassel crew over here and Boris Dici over there, and like all the people I only knew from Pissing Fingers and from the forums, and it was quite surreal for me. And I didn't really talk to that many people because I was so overwhelmed by everything.
Yeah, it was similar for me. I mean, I already knew kind of what to expect from the events because Blackriver used to put like a highlights reel on YouTube.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it was a pain in the ass getting there anyway, like because you had to fly into Munich, get the bus to the train station, wherever,
Yeah,
like 6 hour train journey up there, then another to Schwarzenbach, and then oh god, I'm finally here. Um, but as soon as we got to the strike, Manu Oberle like put a camera in front of my face, said, "Oh, let's have a grip skin interview." So I hadn't been there for 2 seconds, and I'm already doing an interview. I'm quite an anxious person anyway, so I was like, "Oh, what the hell?" But bloody hell, the actual event, God, it was really really good. I absolutely loved it. I cannot remember a single second from my run because, like I said, I'm super anxious. I just black out. Um,
yeah. I'm also super anxious when it comes to runs. Like yeah, I never do good at events. Like I did good at a couple events, but it either was like there was no one there, or I was super drunk. Like
yeah,
at,
I mean, I have to be comfortable. Like, yeah, there's something about events that I just get way too nervous with.
yeah,
But
same.
for me, what made the trip just incredible was going to like Lunseedel and like just chilling out at the Steig afterwards. Like that was the event for me. Like that those are
Yeah,
the memories anyway.
yeah. I mean, hanging out is like the most important part of those big events. Like because I feel like the German events are so much more focused around the contest, uh, in opposite to let's say the Rendezvous in the US, which doesn't have a contest or isn't based around the contest, and a lot of people think the contest is the event, but it's more like it's a thing that's happening, and the actual event is just hanging out there like a couple days and meeting people from all over the world.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great point. In a way, you could think of it as like a festival. Um,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's all about the following days even beforehand. Like,
yeah,
I mean, did you have like the Fast Fingers pre-party the night before? Did you go to that?
yeah. I did.
Yeah, it's like even things like
Yeah,
that. There's a band playing, there's something on the screen, people skating.
yeah,
It's like it's just
yeah.
little bits like that So, I love
Yeah. Yeah, back then it was like in a like old supermarket, and they started building like DIY skate spots in the back, and it was just like and it was the same spot where people slept, and it was like people sleeping there, people skating there, people playing music here, people fingerboarding there, and it was like a whole thing. And yeah, it was super dope.
it. Yeah.
um let's get back to the rapid fire, because I derailed it a bit, but yeah, as
That's
usual, I don't mind. um what's your favorite food?
good. Ooh. Oh God. Um. You know what? I don't really have a favorite food. Um, if you put it in front of me, I'll probably eat it. um, I
Do you
guess
have a least favorite food?
probably, but I can't think of anything right now. I mean, I'm not keen on mushrooms, like mushrooms or
Okay.
anything like, oh, blue cheese. I hate anything too cheesy. Oh, it drives me sick.
I love cheese in pretty much any form.
I'm quite picky about cheese. I don't mind it heated onto like pizza but I
Mm.
can't stand anything cold like cheese,
I
like
mean, I
parmesan and
mean,
stuff.
blue cheese cold is also not for me, but any other cheese that isn't goat cheese, I eat. I could eat every day.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough.
Um, do you have a favorite skateboarder?
Yes, Ishod, Ishod Ware. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's on Real Skateboards.
Mm.
Um, yeah, he's another like style merchant, just incredible. And then probably somebody like Jeff Rowley, just classic.
Yeah, he's also like similar to fingerboarding with Elias Asmut. Jeff Rowley is also someone you can't go wrong with. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And him being British as well is a
yeah.
bonus for me.
Do you like loose or tight trucks?
um, See, the last event I went to, I thought I had really loose trucks. And then somebody else tried myself, and they were like, "That is tight." I'm like, what? So, yeah, I guess. I mean, I seem to ride tight trucks. I wouldn't say so though. So I guess we'll go medium.
Yeah, that's like a running joke that I try to establish here, that pretty much anyone says medium, because to I think to all of us, whatever we ride usually feels very normal.
Yeah,
And uh, as long as it's not like so tight that you can't turn, or it's so loose that it makes noise, like it rattles when you shake it,
yeah.
like most people say, and if everything between is medium. But yeah,
I mean,
i
where
I
we've
would,
come from with the tech decks and things like
yeah,
we did a
I mean,
medium one.
I would super glue them together, because like the nut was always going coming loose. Like
Yeah,
at that time, people would bring like two setups to a run. Like I always had a second setup in like in my hoodie or in my pants. So when in a run a wheel would come off or a truck would fall apart, I could just switch out and continue to run, because it would happen all the time. Because
yeah.
lug nuts weren't the thing.
Oh God, yeah, I remember that. Yes. You spend about an hour trying to find the lost wheel nut as well on the
Yeah,
carpet.
yeah. I would always bring a stash of nuts, because yeah, you would always end up losing some.
Yeah.
Um, what was your last personal NBD? So the last trick you did, you were really proud of, or you haven't done before?
Um, a backside crooked nollie frontside heel out. Um,
Ugh.
I haven't
So,
I haven't landed it for quite a while actually. I've forgotten how to do it, but I remember getting the technique down just right. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I remember landing that. I was thinking, Jesus, I wish I could do that on camera.
It's one of those tricks that like put all my hairs up in the back of my neck when I would try to think of how to do it. It's like, no, I don't want to. Like, it's so counterintuitive, like against every motion I usually do.
Yeah,
And
I mean, generally, nollie inward heels and nollie frontside heels, I don't touch them with a barge pole. But then
yeah, like
occasionally I land and I'm
I
like,
maybe landed like two, like yeah, ever. Like I can't do them at all. Like I think I'm slowly getting there, but I'm still ways away.
yeah, yeah, I won't be landing on a game skate anytime soon, put it that way.
Speaking of that, what's your most hated trick in a game of skate?
All of them. I'm not that good at game skate.
I love playing games of skate. Like it's what we do at the shop, like to hang out. Like yeah, it's
Yeah,
just what we do.
I mean, I guess I'd go for nollie inward or a switch inward, something like that.
Yeah. Um, do you have one setup or multiple setups?
Um, I have multiple setups, but I only really favour one at the moment.
Okay. I mean, I also always have like one main setup, but I always have so many setups. And even with my main setup, like I have so many variations of that setup, like same mold, same shape, but different trucks, different wheels, yeah, different
Yeah,
tape.
exactly. I mean, I'd like a second setup of my main just to use it outside. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that's the way I want to do one inside, one outside, maybe one for transition. I don't.
Yeah, I tried doing that, and I always choose whatever I want to in that moment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, I have so many setups; it doesn't really matter. Like, yeah. Do you prefer plastic or urethane wheels?
Urethane.
Yeah, that one I saw coming. Um, what's your favorite beverage?
um. Ooh. I guess. You know what? I always love drinking Augustina when I'm in Germany.
Ah, yeah,
Um. It's well over here. It's ridiculously priced. I mean, it's I think it costs about 5 or 6 times as much as it does in Germany.
yeah. Like I lived in Finland for a while, and they have like ridiculous alcohol prices. And I saw like I think it was Paulana, so also one of the Bavarian beers that you usually get in like all over Germany, similar to Augustina. And that one, like one small bottle, because you have the O5 and the O3 bottles, and the O3 bottle was like €6 or something in the shop. Like, and here it's like a euro. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I know, I know. I always think about that when I'm handing over 7 quid for a bottle over
yeah,
here.
uh,
Yeah, I'm non-alcoholic. I'm just water or maybe coffee, something
yeah.
like
Cats or dogs?
that. I'm more of a dog person.
Yeah, I sadly grew to be allergic to either, but yeah, I'm a cat person.
Yeah, I wasn't allergic to cats up until I mean, I must have grown up into the allergy. But my grandmother had cats. I was never bothered by them when I
Yeah,
was a kid. But
I had a cat. Like growing up, I we always had cats. Like my cat got to be 19 years old, and and she was born in my brother's bed, and we had her mother. So we had cats for like
oh wow,
24 years plus. And when when like I always say, my cat, when she was like 17 or something, I started going to university, and she was living with my mom. And every time I got back, I thought I was getting sick because I was always like having the sniffles and
yeah.
had like a small headache. And eventually I realized, oh no, shit, I'm just allergic to cats now after living with cats for like almost 20 years
Oh,
at that point.
that's
Yeah.
unfortunate. That's really
Yeah,
unfortunate.
and now I'm really allergic to cats. Like I like depending on the cat, some are fine, some I can't be in the same room with. Yeah.
Yeah.
um, yeah, the next question would be who your sponsors are, but I think we established that
Yeah, yeah.
already.
Blackriver and Oak.
And yeah, and the next one also, because the next one would be 32 or 34. And
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, 32, but 34 trucks. Quite like that.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, that's weird. That's something I don't think I have heard before.
So it seems, I think it really depends on the wheel. So standard
It
sort of
does.
flat river wheels or flat face or whoever,
Yeah.
the bearing is more
Mhm.
towards the axle, so you get a
Yeah.
lot of the wheel pushed out. Whereas with Oaks, they're
It's
central.
almost. Are they exactly in the center?
Um, I think on some models they are, um, I, but they are more central anyway, so they tend to
Yeah.
work better on wider trucks with a narrow deck, at least in my experience.
Okay. Okay. That's something I never tried before because I have tried 32 on 34, like 32 trucks on 34 decks, but not the other way around.
Yeah, it does stick out slightly from the edge of the deck,
Mhm.
but it's not so much that it's an issue. Um,
Yeah.
it feels right, or
Yeah.
when you get a pinch in the grind because of the
Yeah.
thin deck, you really push into it. It does feel
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. And that's the most important thing. Do you have a dream sponsor?
Uh, I've got my dream sponsors as far as I'm concerned, but I guess like whenever I've been sponsored, it always has to be a company I feel passionate about.
Yeah, same for me. Like I couldn't write for any other deck company other than Five Luck because it's the one thing I've been writing for the past like 3 years plus. Like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how it should be. I mean,
yeah,
we've all been beginners, and we're like, oh, I want a sponsorship, but really,
yeah,
it's about taking your time, figuring out what you want, and if they sponsor you, brilliant. That's a bonus.
yeah. And if not, like, it's not like in skateboarding where you go through decks like every week. Like even like I go through decks quite fast compared to others and people who are locals at the shop as well because I think we ride a lot more and a lot like harder than a lot of people do in the regular because yeah we can ride with people usually every day we want and for us like for most of us it's like 1 year lasts one deck lasts usually half a year and that's like really fast and even then it's like what like 35 euros in half a year like
Yeah.
that's reasonable. Of course it's a lot if you think of oh the whole setup costs like 130 euros but like if you just need to upgrade from time to time or replace something it's usually like very like it's not as bad as in other hobbies where uh, it gets really expensive quite a lot like it fingerboarding is usually only expensive because people want more than they actually need. Like
Yeah,
I have so many decks, like and so many setups. I don't need them, but I like to have them.
yeah, exactly. I guess there's always like the collectability aspect of
Yeah,
fingerboarding, and the need to have it kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, like just a couple of days ago when we record this, the other Berlin shop announced the Flint collabo,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, should I write an email for them and try to get one? But I was like, nah, I don't really need it, and yeah, let let's someone else have the option to
Yeah,
get that.
exactly. I'm exactly the same. I've been through the same motions where I see that I'm like, oh my god, that is such a nice graphic. I
Yeah, and it's like one of three, and it would be so cool to own that, but yeah, I don't really need that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when it comes to limited stuff, in my eyes now, I want to know that I'm going to use it. Am I going to get the most
Yeah,
out of it? If I'm not going
same,
to get the most out of it, I want somebody else to get the most out of it.
same, and because like I mentioned this in other episodes before, I I come from playing Magic the Gathering basically all my life, which is like a huge collective card game. Collect whatever the word is. Yeah, but you collect those,
Yeah.
and they get super expensive, and a huge part of the scene is just people buying and selling. Like, I've known so many people who made that their job, and that also increases prices all the time. And some people just buy cards to eventually flip them again.
Yeah.
And like it always pissed me off in Magic because it sometimes prices up cards like artificially. Like there's been a famous example where like a card that has been out of print for like 20 years shot up overnight like $250. Like it went from around 300, like 250 to $300 to around 500 to $600 overnight.
Oh my god.
And all of that was because one guy, like that card was so old and so rare that to control the whole market, you only needed to buy like 30 copies or 60 copies, was like a couple of $1,000s, and then he hiked up the price overnight. He controlled like around 70% of the market, so everyone else followed, and that's why a card doubled in price overnight without any increase in demand.
Jeez.
And those and I mean those things happen in much larger scales in on Wall Street and stuff every day, but having that in Magic always made things just unobtainable for me and sucking the fun out of it sometimes. And that's why I always hated that thing in fingerboarding, because yeah, it's something I just don't want in fingerboarding. And like I recently traded a Preet, and I only traded the Preet to someone who I know he's going to use it, and he's not going to just put it online for triple what he traded me,
Yeah.
uh, which was already more than what I bought it from, because Peter usually sells them for like $20 to people. Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it happens in anything that. I mean,
yeah.
one hobby I used to have was collecting Adidas trainers, and like they'd
Mm,
always be like rare models. They would be
yeah.
heaped up like the mad
And,
money. And
vinyls, like
yeah, 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 exactly. Like queuing up at daft hours, like to get it at
yeah,
9 a.m. It's stupid, really.
yeah,
'Cause-
and I also know people like with like sneakers or vinyls who just queue to flip them like the next day online
yeah,
for like triple the price, something like that.
yeah, yeah,
And
exactly. Like you say, it
that
takes the fun out of it when you want to get something because of its
yeah,
rarity, because you like the story of whatever,
yeah,
and you're staying up till midnight to get it. Maybe getting it, maybe not. It's
yeah.
actually it's
And even if you get it, like
yeah,
uh, to own something, like if I want to buy something because I want to use it, and then it like triples in price, there's a point where it doesn't make sense for me to use it anymore,
yeah,
and to be like, oh no, maybe it's just better if I would just sell it, even though I didn't buy it for that purpose. But if it's like walking around with like sneakers that eventually become like 20,000 euros or whatever, like at some point it just doesn't make sense anymore.
exactly, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And writing a deck that I know I could sell for like a couple €100, like that's just something I don't want to think about. And that's why I try to not think of my setups as monetary value. It's more like I have setups that I amassed over the years, and as long as I have disposable income, that's fine for me.
yeah, 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 exactly. I mean, it's a tool at the end of the day. Well,
Yeah,
it's a toy, but like
it's a toy.
it's how we use it. It's just a tool.
Yeah,
You can change all the different components, um,
yeah,
and that's all it is. It's just a plank of wood, some metal, and some wheels.
yeah,
That's all it is.
yeah, yeah. What's your favorite Instagram follow? So the
Um,
account you like seeing content of the most.
I always like Eddie's stuff, Eddie the Llama, Eddie
Mm.
Sharples. Um, he's always putting out amazing, amazing stuff. Um, other than that, there's a quite a young UK guy. I don't know his surname. He's called James. Sorry, I'm just going on my phone to check his Instagram handle. His Instagram handle is stoopy.fb.
Don't think I know that one.
So he's sponsored by somebody called Double Joint, which do decks, and Whisk Rails, which is a UK rail company. But he's only been fingerboarding for about 2 years or so, and he's amazing. Like he's doing like Nollie 316 would heel, frontside board slide, whatever out. It's like that is next level. You've only been fingerboarding 2 years, mate. It's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. I like for me, it's sometimes hard to say how long I've been fingerboarding because I started in 2001, but been away for 9 years. So, and in those 9 years, I still had fingerboards at my desk. Like
Yeah,
I wasn't riding as much as before, but like once in a while, I would do a kickflip. So yeah, like seeing people who are so much like so far beyond my skill level is sometimes discouraging, but sometimes it's just rad to see. And I think that's the thing we need to remember. Like if you see someone doing like some cool shit, don't try to think of it as, oh, I can never do that.
yeah.
Try to think of it as, hey, that's some cool shit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm thinking as well for the future of fingerboarding to have somebody like that coming in.
Mm,
Fingerboarding is going to be just fine.
yeah, I think so as well. And I mean, with all the staying at home stuff, like fingerboarding definitely had a bump in the whole COVID times. And let's see if, like in the future, like in a couple of years, we have like a whole generation of COVID fingerboarders who started when they couldn't go out anymore and stuck with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we'll see a lot more events when restrictions start relaxing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I
and that's
can't wait.
sustainable. Yeah.
Yeah. And the very last question: what's your favorite overall company?
Ooh, I always like companies that um, sort of either have a mantra um, or they do something for the scene. Um, so yeah, like I guess I like a clear purpose for a brand. So
Mm,
if I'm talking about my sponsors, like Black River, their purpose is to push events, get fingerboarding as close to skateboarding as possible.
and make the thing I always thought of Black River. They made fingerboarding professional.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they like the way they handle business is much more close to an actual business rather than someone doing it in their basement. Like
yeah, exactly.
and
Yeah,
and that's the level of, and with that level of professionality come like a whole different set of opportunities. And yeah,
exactly. It legitimizes what we're doing, and it's the
yeah,
reason why
absolutely.
big brands are interested in Black River.
Yeah,
I mean, it's happened
absolutely.
all throughout their history.
Yeah,
Stabilo's been interested, Canon, Red Bull, and
yeah,
now
like
we've got girl skateboards.
I've been to a few Stabilo sessions back in the day. Uh, there've been Black River parks that were plastered in Nokia stickers.
Yeah,
There were like infamous Red Bull parks. Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah. Um,
like like they reached out to a big German TV show back in the day called Galileo, which does like a how it's made thing for like deep fried pizza, like for like deep frozen pizza and stuff like that. And they also did an episode about the Fast Fingers. I think it was number 8 or number 9, and about Elias Asimov and Black River. And yeah, that was like a huge thing that where people who never had heard anything about fingerboarding before got to learn about fingerboarding, and that's all just because of Blackriver, because they kept going to trade shows, kept reaching out to other brands, to skate brands, and sponsoring skateboarders, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then, sorry if I come back to the other half, so like Oak, like that's on a much lower scale, but
Yeah,
they had a clear like vision. It was about the urethane, and they led with the
yeah,
tagline "Mucho feeling." Then all of a
yeah,
sudden, yeah, God, I get mucho feeling. I understand
yeah,
it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I like brands that that have a clear purpose.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite hats that I wear is an oak hat because yeah, I think I think oak as a brand is such a cool brand, and like it sometimes even hurts my heart that I don't like Oakleys anymore because I want to support Ricardo because he's such a cool guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, I can't wait to get back to Porto for the next patio.
You know what? I've not been to the Paseo.
Ah,
Yeah, I've not been yet.
but have you been to Porto like
No,
outside of Porto? Oh,
no, not been to Portugal at all. So I need to
you
sort
re-
that out. I mean,
you really need to, because for me it was my favorite event ever. Because it felt like events back in the day. It was like kind of small, but everyone who's there was like someone who's really passionate about fingerboarding. Like at some of the bigger events, you get people who like just stumble across it and don't want to take away anything from them. But if you have like people who have been in the scene for a number of years and have them all in the same room, it's just a different feeling and a much more intimate feeling.
yeah, I always thought of Pateo in the same manner as One Seedle after Fast
Mm,
Fingers. Like that's the core scene. Like they
yeah,
all know each other, they all talk to each other, blah blah blah. And I always felt that was the kind of vibe I got from Pateo.
yeah,
Um, I mean, we both know how Ricardo is. He's such a
yeah,
lovely, relaxed, chilled out
yeah,
bloke.
yeah,
Um, and obviously, his events are going to follow that as well.
yeah. He's such a nice. Like I think it's hard to convey like how nice he is. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that's a perfect place to end. And yeah, thank you so much for doing this with me.
yeah. No problem.
And
Thanks for having me on, Yana.
yeah, so thank you everyone for listening, and you'll catch me in the next episode. Bye.